Hi, Tom Anderson, day 50 of 100 Days of Thankfulness. Today I'm talking about the importance of having an eternal perspective, as well as why I'm so thankful for author Randy Alcorn, who wrote a book called Heaven. And in his book, he talks about all the verses in the Bible. So many of us think, oh, you can't, heaven is just a huge mystery. We can't possibly gain much from, what's talked about it in the Bible. Well, he actually takes that challenge on, and he pulls all the verses out that refer to heaven or even infer to it, and he draws actually a pretty clear picture of what he believes heaven will be like. Now, there's certain verses in the Bible where it's very obvious, like we'll have a new body and there'll be a new earth. But then there's other areas where it's much less clear. And he does a really good job of differentiating between the two, so you don't need to be concerned if you read his book about, is he going to try to tell me something that really isn't in the Bible. He's very clear in those areas where he's saying, this is kind of what I think, but it might not be true. So I appreciated the book from that standpoint. I've actually read a number of his books, including my current favorite fictional book was also written by him called Safely Home. I mentioned that earlier. So I recommend both books very highly. But around the time that I read the book, I ended up buying this picture because it reminded me of sort of our life's journey towards heaven, where we're surrounded by so much beauty and we're surrounded by so much life, and we have the freedom to basically go wherever we want. But there's an obvious destination point, and there's also a very clear path, and to me that clear path is Jesus. And so this is, the path to salvation that leads to heaven. And so this picture reminded me of kind of that journey to heaven. So many of us look at the life, around us, and they don't look at it with any kind of awe or wonder the way that I do. And they look at life as just being one giant cosmic accident. And if you really look deep into all the coincidences that have happened, not only in how the earth was formed, but how life came to be, and just so many other things, we start to see that pattern, right? It's not like I would look at this picture and ever just assume that these evenly spaced stones just happen to, it just happened by accident. Clearly, that was arranged that way to be a path, to lead to this point. So with that, I just want to thank author Randy Alcorn for all of his wonderful books. But also, I just want to encourage everyone else that, especially if you're going through a midlife crisis or something, and you're, looking at your life and you just haven't accomplished all the things that you had hoped to accomplish up to this point. Often it just helps to remind ourselves that, this life is short and temporary, but really it's just that launching point to all eternity. So it's, we're still in our beginning infancy. There's so much more to look forward to. So I hope that helps, and thanks again to Randy Alcorn.